Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
Will somebody get this big walking carpet out of my way?
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, an official supporter of Star Wars Celebration Orlando, happening this April 13th through the 16th at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida, featuring your hosts, JT. I mean, they killed his mother. What's he supposed to do? Send him a postcard? I wish you wouldn't have done that. AJ.
I'm on Facebook, man. Hey, Mom, check me out.
Steve.
Sir, you have a parasol on your face. Please do not tell me what I should and should not like, sir. Thank you.
It really was. On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we talk about Darth Maul's climactic battle against Obi-Wan Kenobi on Star Wars Rebels, an interesting potential plot direction for The Last Jedi, and bathroom podcasting at Celebration Orlando.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I'm your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. And regretfully, we have to start tonight's show off with a little bit of bad news. It appears that the fine folks who were on the selection committee for the podcast stage at Celebration Orlando have decided that the Nerf Herder Council just did not make the cut.
I think it has something to do with the Russian government.
Fake news, yes.
Yes, fake news.
Yes.
Hashtag not my podcast stage.
Hashtag alternative lineup. But yeah, we did not get selected, and we're actually kind of wondering who did, because we've seen two different lists. There's similarities between the two lists, but there's a couple differences, so we're kind of we're not sure which one's accurate. So we don't want to say who's on or not, because we don't want to give any. Again, it's fake news.
Okay, it's first come, first serve for whoever's on the list.
Right? Would you rather get denied outright, or would you rather like be on the list and then find out that you read the bogus one and have to then like pull it all back?
That would be hilarious.
No, because we would just refuse to acknowledge the second list, and we would just show up and walk onto the stage.
Storm the stage.
Yeah.
I would just print it so that I can hold it up and go, nope, see, this was actually printed somewhere.
We get a little banner that's written in crayon to drape on the front of the table while somebody else is trying to do their podcast. Nope, it's our time.
I thought it would be a great idea if we let one of the podcasts set up, because, I mean, let's face it, even though these podcasts have a lot of fans, nobody knows who they look like, or excuse me, what they look like and who they are. So we'll let them set up, and then like, hey man, come here. One of us will lure them outside, and then we'll do the whole, like episode 4 with the stormtroopers and the scanning crew, and we'll just knock them out and go in there and be like, hey, what's up, everybody? We're blah, blah, just say we're blah, 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 whatever podcast, and do a show like we're supposed to be them, but just completely do our show.
No, just get on stage and say you're the Nerf Herder Council and see how long we get to sit up there at that point.
No,
just
do
start a countdown clock on how long it takes us to get kicked out.
Do a show, like we'll do it with the most fan-friendly one possible, and then we'll go up there and be like, all right, today's topic, ladies and gentlemen, does Chewbacca have testicles? And then everyone's like, oh. Because there's going to be dads there with their little kid and everything. Like, oh, look, son, we're going to go listen to a family-friendly podcast.
Chewbacca and Dingleberries. An unexplained story in the Star Wars universe until today. Hoped everybody had a nice meal before you sat down.
Meanwhile, the actual podcasters are tied up in the FedEx room.
Don't worry, we have swag for you. We printed our name on condoms. Here you go. Here you go.
Here's your little paper bag to throw up in during the conversation, and some condoms for later, buddy.
Welcome to Celebration. Hey, Dad, give these to little Johnny. He's going to need them down the road.
There's just babies wearing them as skull caps later on during the convention.
See, this idea would be fantastic, except we wouldn't have given out our own name, so it wouldn't really be good for promo.
Well, it tends to hurt, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's very true.
One less podcast in our way.
Right? Don't mess with the council. But where there is dark, there is light.
You know what we should do? I did see that one of the things that is on both schedules, so we know this is happening for real, is how to podcast like a Jedi master. Maybe we should just go to the how-to show and figure out what we've been doing wrong this whole time.
We're like within the first 30 seconds, we're gonna be like, well, we're screwed. That's really what it is. It's like when I looked at the descriptions of the shows that made it, even on both lists, I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that I could narrow it down very easily as to why we did not get selected. So yeah, we didn't make it. But as I was gonna say, where there is dark, there is light, and the darkness is that we did not get selected. The light is we are
going to podcast anyway.
Yep. But we are going to make Star Wars Celebration history. There may not be a podcast stage for us, but there damn sure will be a podcast bathroom for us. We are actually broadcasting from the friggin' bathroom. Yep. That is happening.
All right, we got to get some other people. Who were we talking to on Twitter today that said they wanted to do the parking lot?
Oh, that was 12 parsecs.
Yeah, 12 parsecs.
If they're there, let's Skype them in. We'll get like a nice perimeter around the whole building. We got the parking lot covered, the bathrooms.
We'll get all of our buddies that didn't get picked and just have
everything except the show floor will be covered.
Just do the stupidest stuff like there'll be the closet. We'll be in the bathroom. 12 parsecs.
You can look at the Star Wars YouTube page and see everything that's going on the floor. Or you can listen to us who cover everything else.
We cover the entire like perimeter of the place. Like you said, there'll be a map and we'll be basically we'll be the shields.
Yeah. Everything's highlighted except the show floor. Oh no, we're not really concentrated on that big main area. It's more so the little stuff around the side.
And let's check in with our roving field reporter. How is the bar over at the Rosen right now?
that would be Brews and Blasters.
Dude, that'd be great. I do have a hit list. I have a list of people that I intend to somehow meet at this thing because I just want to see what these people are like in real life. Those guys, I mean, they got a whole show based around drinking and talking Star Wars.
We have to.
Can we get along with them? I don't know.
We have to.
Yeah, I will. Dude, just give me the names. We'll Skype in as many people as that app will let me hold, dude, and we will do this entire thing.
Dude, it's gonna be too funny once we meet up with these people and do all this stuff. It's like. Honestly, what I think is going to be hilarious is us actually podcasting from the crapper, because people are going to be walking out going, "What the hell?" And then I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to interview random people who just had their dick in their hand, and I'm going to be like, "Come on our show."
That's why we need stickers. That way, when you're done talking to them, you can just reach under the stall door. Like here you go, buddy. There's for your time.
Just knock on the door of some guy who knows there. Excuse me, sir. Sir, we'd like to ask you a question about the Phantom Menace. If you can please hear us when you're done pushing.
Really? Well, get that microphone out of my face. What are you doing?
I think they really tried too hard to in that first episode, man.
You want to see my Force Awaken?
Who does episode 2 work for?
You just hear that little,
like the peanut drop.
So why didn't we get picked to be?
I was just about to say that.
We're gonna do the first official Crapper cast from Celebration.
Dude. God, get it started now. Hashtag Crappercast.
Dude, that's gonna be our
spread it like mayonnaise nationwide.
That should be our, wouldn't that be great? Let's just get a whole bunch of stuff like promo that says that which bathroom we're going to be in at what time, and see if we can get like 100 or 200 people.
Publish our own schedule of events,
dude. And it's just like everyone's like, why are there like 400 people in line for this bathroom, and the line's not moving?
No, you got to lie to people. You got to go to Celebration, waste about an hour of your day, and just hand out little flyers like right past where the tickets are getting taken and people are coming in, and let them know of the venue change for one of the panels that's going on today. So this huge crowd gathers by the shitter. Right when you guys go in there, and we Skype into the computer here at home and do a podcast. They're all sitting there like, when's Mark Hamill coming?
Yeah. Harrison Ford. Oh my God, they got Harrison. Why is he going to the bathroom?
They told me there was going to be a better catering table. Chewie, get us out of here.
That was the most paltry haunted Chewie.
I know, yeah.
See, it makes it so funny because the greatest thing is that the image that we have in our head now is AJ and I standing at the sink in the crapper at Celebration talking about Star Wars. And you're going to hear this like every 60 to 75 seconds. People going, what the hell? Oh, we're doing a podcast. People are like, what? Like, no, we're actually doing a podcast. You want to be on? Come here.
We were actually looking up microphones today, and I was ruling out anyone that said does not work well in a highly reverberating environment. Like bathroom tiles, probably not the best.
all I'm picturing in my head right now is like one of them old school Triumph the Insult Comic Dog skits where you're just catching people coming right out of the stall trying to wash their hands, and you're immediately sticking a microphone in their face asking them about what they thought about specific scenes of like episode 2.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. Wash your hands first. No, of course that's cool. Go ahead. We can wait.
We should just take, we don't have anyone using this fourth boom stand that would reach over a bathroom stall door just fine.
Yeah, get one of those legit boom mics with a huge mic with that fuzzy, gray.
Looks like a feather duster.
Just dangling over the top of a stall door.
It's going to be a podcast filled with toilet noises. Like, what did you think? Well,
As soon as they sit down in the stall, we need a voice changer so you can sound like Jigsaw and tell them how they have to do an interview with us to get the toilet paper roll. You want to play a game? If you look to your left, there's 3 empty toilet rolls.
Yeah. Look to your left. There are 3 empty toilet paper rolls. None of them full. Your ass is covered in poop. What do you do?
There is one coming over, and it's just connected to the boom mic.
But it's covered in tape, so they can't unroll it.
We'll
if they answer our questions, we hand them scissors. They can cut the tape.
A razor blade.
The more we talk about this, I'm actually kind of glad we didn't get picked for the podcast stage because it's not nearly as funny.
Right? What a huge relief to be rejected again.
Oh,
they didn't even do us the service of sending us a personal rejection. We wanted to get our Hall of Shame started, and we have nothing official telling us we're not allowed.
I know.
Yeah, that is sad. I really was going to frame that and put it on the wall behind us here.
It's like getting fan mail that says we suck. Like I would put like those up here.
Assist.
Yeah. Oh man, that.
Well, we'll get that one in a few weeks after Celebration.
That one's coming. That one's coming. No, yeah. Along with my arrest warrant after I bombed the live stream. That's another thing that's going to happen. We're going to come up with some goofy hashtag. We got to come up with something that someone will see and go online and look us up.
That's it. During the Cantina live cut on YouTube, we talked earlier over text, the WWE style cardboard signs. One will have the Nerf Herder Council logo on it, and the other one will just say hashtag Crappercast on it.
Yeah, I love it. Jar Jar Binks mows my lawn. Rip off the old Eddie Guerrero sign.
I said, if I'm sitting here on Skype, I can look at the live feed and be like, they're at the Cantina. Run over, guys. I just see you guys running on the live stream.
It'd just be
run
great.
over with the Crappercast sign in your hands.
We go from like 40 followers to like 8,000 within minutes. And then all of a sudden a celebration hits us up. Hey, we have an opening in the podcast stage. Would you like to come podcast? No, you don't.
No, we have our own now. Thank you.
Yeah.
You talk about your Bibles and your John 3:16. Well, Crapper 413 says I just ripped your cast.
That was awesome.
It's my God, it killed him.
Is this just bad impression night?
Oh, God. You know what else I think? You know what else I think we should do to make it awesome if we're podcasting from the bathroom? We need to get a big piece of poster board and in huge black letters right on it, "Quiet, please, podcasting," and stand in front of it so people are like, what the hell?
Get one of those light up signs that says on air.
Someone flushes. You just dangle it over the front of the stall door with a couple of metal hangers. Someone flushes, you're just like, and you start pointing at the sign.
Can we get can we do like a trivia segment like Cash Cab? Can we just like line the inside of a stall with like LEDs and someone goes to sit on it and we like light it up like, all right, trivia time.
Cash Crapper. The guy sits down, one of us walks in with a microphone.
Every right answer gets you one sheet of toilet paper.
Oh my God, this is so funny. Oh,
just get a Bluetooth speaker and start playing like some really over the top like 1960s game show music and stuff. JT comes in a tight ass suit that's too small for him and a hairpiece and one of them old school Bob Barker microphones.
The real skinny one that looks like
it just squeezes. The stall doors closes, squeezes in between that crack while the door is locked.
You know what's the best part about this is that AJ and I are actually going to do some of these. We can't just go in the bathroom and start talking. Like, we have to do something silly.
The cantina thing, we got to advertise the Crappercast. If we're going to do hashtag Crappercast, flip the other sign around, the Nerf Herder Council one, flip it with a time, of when people can tune in.
And remember, I just quadrupled our live streaming quota for the day on our hosting plan. So we can do like up to like 5 or 6 hours of this a day if we want to.
Yeah, we're gonna spend all this money to go down to Orlando and spend half of the convention in the bathroom.
Welcome to the Nerf Herder Council's Crappercast,
featuring your host JT, AJ, and live via Skype, it's Steve.
No toilet paper for you, stupid.
You know, what would people actually do if we did take all the toilet paper and wait for someone to go into the stall and go, sir, we have the toilet paper and you're not getting it until you answer a Star Wars trivia question. But we wait until we know he's going, so it's not like he can just stand up.
You wait till you hear the plop of glory hit the water.
We have too many really, really stupid ideas, man. Anybody who listens again is going to go, well, gee, I wonder why you didn't get picked.
Right?
Can you imagine if we got into this type of conversation at Celebration? Like, we actually got selected and this is what we're talking about?
Yes, I could actually.
We get yanked out of there in handcuffs.
We would get up on stage and I would sit down there by myself and they'd be like, where? Oh no, my other two guys are in the bathroom.
Yeah, they're on location.
Don't worry, we're good. We're good in 5, man. Just got to pull them up on Skype and we're cool.
Oh my God.
This is what happens when we actually have a plan for the show. We decided to just ignore it.
Yeah, right.
This was not even a topic we had discussed.
Oh my goodness. All right. So let's actually get to tonight's topic 20 minutes into the show. Okay. So, for anybody who has not seen the most recent episode of Rebels, we are going to have an in-depth discussion regarding one of the coolest characters to ever have appeared in Star Wars, Darth Maul.
And we don't care about major spoilers because Star Wars YouTube channel ruined the outcome of the episode an hour before it was even aired and a full day before anyone on demand could get it. So
that we'll start there, but
very in-depth on the possibly coolest 7 seconds that have been in Star Wars Rebels.
So we're about to give away a major spoiler about Darth Maul.
Second coolest.
Yeah.
Because I still put Ahsoka and Vader up there because we'll get into why I don't.
Works for me. But yeah, but if you have not seen the latest episode of Rebels, if you don't know what the major plot twist was relating to Darth Maul, turn this off now. Because
and if you're like anybody else, it's off already.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Or was never on.
Love the Harry Doyle thing.
Yeah.
Judge you by the numbers.
You haven't. But here's the major spoiler. Darth Maul gets killed. Darth Maul officially dies in Star Wars canon at the end of the most recent episode of Rebels. And yeah. Steve, I believe you have a little highlight package to play.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Revenge.
I will remember you.
I must have revenge.
Will you remember me?
No. No.
Don't let your
Excuse me, I'm working with you.
life pass you by.
It's so tragic.
I am fear. Always remember I am hunter. Always remember I am filth. Always remember I am nothing.
It tugs on your heartstrings, doesn't it?
Steve, it's too soon.
It is. It's way too soon. My God, how just because he's died like 3 times, it doesn't mean it hits you any less, you know?
That's the thing. It's how many more times can you see it? It just gets worse every time.
Well, they only killed him twice, right?
Yeah, okay.
He nearly died in Clone Wars, but didn't.
Okay, right. I was thinking to this because when I first saw the episode and they killed him off in literally like 7 seconds,
I had to watch that clip like 15 times. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what?
It's like a Goldberg match.
Yeah, right. It is. It's like a squash match.
Actually, it's exactly like a Goldberg match. There was about a 3-minute intro leading up to this thing, and then the bell rings. 7 seconds later,
jackhammer splat gur.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I see. My initial reaction is still the same to the actual death of Maul. I understand if you're going to kill him off, okay, fine. Because, I mean, let's face it, either he's dead or something happens where he goes into exile again, because we already know what happens to Obi-Wan Kenobi, so you know something's there. But it just, and everyone's like rationalizing, oh, well, it's really cool because you could tell, like one of the articles, like Filoni himself said that Maul is still in the same place he was at the end of episode 1. He's doing the same moves and he hasn't moved past this moment. But Ben Kenobi has, become more in tune with the Force and he's grown this, that, and the other. So of course he's going to be more powerful and he's going to beat him. It's like, okay, that reasoning makes sense, but you already know that that's like a fan favorite character, and everyone was mad that you killed him off before. And everyone was mad that you killed him, but they said, oh, it's a great fight. So at least give people something. They don't want this spiritual, Force explanation. They want to see Obi-Wan and Maul start kicking each other's ass.
I looked at that scene as more panic than anything. Like, I looked at it as a writing panic of, oh, crap, we're getting too close to the events of Rogue One in episode 4. We got to get this guy the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And let's just kill him like this.
This is that Rebels pacing issue we've talked about. You take 22 minutes to tell something that would have taken 88 in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then I get it's Disney XD and everything, and you can't, exactly decapitate or cut somebody in half, a la episode 1. But like I said, I'd watch that clip like 7 times and go, did he even hit him?
That's what I thought too. I thought he just cut the lightsaber
Yeah,
in
like
half.
he split the lightsaber, and then Maul just kind of gave up. Like the lightsaber was his life force or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't. It looked like Luke kicking that guy on the desert scarab.
Yeah, right.
The meme of Luke kicking like 17 feet away from the guy.
Yeah, the build up to it was cool. I mean, you're looking forward to it, and especially, yet again they tease something incredible in trailers that you're waiting for, and there's no payoff.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna stick to Maul, but this show has been like a cavalcade of just things not paying off like you would expect.
Yeah, I mean, we talked in depth about Ezra and the Kylo Ren type lightsaber from season 2, and then we found out that it was just him going, "Oh, hey, look at this," and then he throws it aside.
Yeah.
half a second later. It's like, wait, you guys have been pimping this for 2 months.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought that was going to be his lightsaber. What the hell?
That's what I thought. And again on not Making Star Wars, I'm sorry, StarWarsNewsNet.com, the writer that was reviewing the episode said, "Oh, well, this is one of the top 5 Rebels episodes ever." And I'm like, okay, well, that's an objective opinion, but he said, "This is a fantastic piece of canon and it really furthers the saga." I'm like, no, it doesn't. To me, honestly, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but there was really no point to even having Maul and Kenobi in this season of Rebels, or at all. What was the point? I would
posit that there was no point in having Maul in Rebels.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what was the point
like
of that?
It sounded like panic, but it's not like we had anything handed to us that said, "Oh, well, Maul." I mean, well, maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe it's something in the books or something that we had something saying that Kenobi killed Maul, so they had to go.
No, this is the first one.
Okay, so yeah, it's like I don't even understand the panic. Like you said, you could have him go back into exile again. You could have had anything, and then you pimped this huge thing for a 7-second payoff that didn't need to really happen.
Yeah, and then I've seen people saying, well, they had to have Obi-Wan in there talking about Luke being the chosen one because you have to have that in there. And I went, no, you don't. You already know he thinks that because he almost basically says it in Empire when he says that boy was our last hope. I mean, he figures he's the last chance for them to defeat the Empire, the Sith, and all this. So you already know where Obi-Wan is. You know his beliefs. So what was the point of having Maul in there if you're just going to have him looking for Obi-Wan, then go die in 3 swings of a lightsaber? That just why? What was the point?
It was just a loose end that they had to tie up. They're like, oh crap, we've got other stories to tell, and we still got this character alive. What do we do with him? Put him down like a rabid dog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like why even, like you guys said, why even put him in Rebels? Like what purpose did he serve?
And that's really what I wish they would have done, because they want to talk about how the madness is still in him from when he was found as a spider, basically in Clone Wars. Okay, if that's the case, they need to do a much better job of showing how unglued he still is, or how unglued he became in his obsession with finding Kenobi. If he's like completely out of his mind, then I'll believe that after all the fights they've had, that it would only take 2 blocks and a slash for Kenobi to finish him off. But as it was, he seemed like, with it enough that he should have been able to put up a much better fight.
A question for you, AJ, because I don't remember the exact timeline on all this, but that book, Maul Lockdown, was that the end of the EU, or is that actually canon?
No, that was Legends now.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Because I was going to say, if that's canon, they basically, really kind of contradicted the character. So,
no.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure before I made that point. So, okay. So that doesn't count. Okay. But yeah, I just didn't see the point. And I mean, Maul, everyone loved the guy. I mean, to the point where everyone threw a fit in episode 1 that they introduced this amazing character and then kill him off. You're like, what the heck? And they bring him back, which was actually a pretty cool way to do it in the Clone Wars. And then they have that awesome arc with him and Savage Opress, and they built him up again. It was really cool.
That Mandalore arc with them and the Black Sun and the Hutts and all that stuff, that was my favorite arc of the entire Clone Wars.
Yeah, it was great. And then they bring him back in this, and you're like, okay, maybe he'll have some part to play, but
right. And they got you all excited again too with the whole thing with Ezra last year, and you're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird.
It was weird, but it was. Maybe it was the fact that you were already sitting there waiting for the Ahsoka Vader thing, and that kind of just added to the coolness of what was going on at that time. Even though, yeah, it did get a little weird jumping back and forth between Kanan and Maul, and then Ahsoka and Vader and stuff. So yeah, I guess I could see it being weird. I mean, that I think about it.
Was Maul basically in there to kind of show Ezra's leanings toward the dark side?
So pretty much seemed like it.
Yeah, because if that's the case, they sure went away from that. They just kind of brought it back out here and there. It's like it was like every once in a while, it's like I keep hearing Maul. Oh, by the way, we're gonna go become the rebellion. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Do you remember the beginning of season 3 and when he actually like made the AT-DPs turn on each other? Like, with the Force, he did the Jedi mind trick, and like the entire rest of the Rebels crew is looking at him like, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're creeping us out. Like, you're getting too powerful and you're getting real dark.
Yeah.
And then they just dropped it. Like, all of a sudden, no, we saw Bendu. We're cool now.
Yeah. Oh, Bendu, don't get me started. I can't stand that character. It's like I want to like Rebels, and it's like the episodes that are good are really good, and the ones that aren't are just
yep.
And they never said really before about like how it almost just feels like filler. Like every season is like this awesome 30-minute thing, and they go, well, crap, we need to make 15 more of these somehow.
Yeah. Everyone's all excited for the season finale next week, and I'm like, yeah, I am too, because the 2 previous season finales were awesome. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, I'm just sitting there hoping it just isn't kind of a letdown. Because, I mean, season 3 of Clone Wars was when they really hit their stride, and season 3 so far is the best season of Rebels. But I still find myself just watching the episodes because I feel like I have to, because it's canon. It's like, I feel like I missed Clone Wars, and I don't want to miss this. But if it was based on quality of show, I'm very underwhelmed. And these loose ends and this kind of lazy storytelling, like it's almost like they forget where they're going. It's kind of floating around. I'm not into it, and Maul is a perfect example of that. I mean, the storyline that they have about the rebellion forming and stuff like that is awesome.
Yeah,
those episodes are great. But then they have these other ones that are kind of like fringe stories to that, and it's like, who cares? Like, they're not very good. They don't tie in a lot. And again, I think Maul was just part of that. Like, they just shoehorned that in there, and I just don't see the point of having him in there. And I mean, if you're going to kill him off again, fine. But if there's no point to have him in there, at least give us like some if it's 22-minute episode, give us a minute of lead up, and then give us 21 minutes of a lightsaber battle. Then I'm like, all right, well, at least I got that.
And like we were saying before we started recording, it's nothing to take away from Steven Stanton and Sam Witwer, because they made the scene like amazing with the voice work. But then it's just, it said womp.
Yeah,
like, wait, really? That was it?
Yeah.
I was watching it, and when the lightsabers came out, I literally went, oh, this is going to be awesome. I can't. What? I mean, the sentence wasn't even out of my mouth before it was over. And I'm like, what is that? Like, that's what you built us up for? This amazing character of Maul, you built him up to be just, he's been wallowing in anger and hatred. I mean, so we're assuming he's
all this time, and then the places he's been and going insane, and the spider thing that he obviously built himself, and then turning into what the hell he is now and all that. And then he just kind of goes out.
Yeah. Like a punk. Like he
like, honestly, it's like what, a year ago or 2 years ago in the UFC when they pimped together they pimped out Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo for like 7 months for a 13-second knockout.
Right.
And it basically went down the same way. Maul was Jose Aldo. He just went in there and bum rushed because he was so friggin' like had all this hatred for the guy across from him that the dude on the other end just had to go and just be done with it because the other guy, like Maul, beat himself. Yeah, that's basically how they tried to portray it, and it was just, let's say, it seemed panicky. If anything, like you said, the minute and the 22, they should have had the lightsabers break and everything and had them two run at each other and then hit you with the BS to be continued thing and make you wait a week to watch what the hell happens or something. Right. Because that would have pissed you off. Yeah. If you would have saw Maul crack that saber open, spin it a couple of times, and then the credits started rolling.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, it would have lasted longer than this.
Yeah, right. But then you would have been really pissed off this week if you would have died in the first 60 seconds of the episode.
60 seconds, the fight would have lasted 6 times as long as it did.
Right.
I mean, like, again, if he's got to die, okay, I have no problem with that. But
and we knew he had to die.
Yeah, I mean, to build it up like that, only to have it be such a letdown, and the logic behind it is sound. The way Filoni has explained it, and people are, ruminating on it. I mean, it makes sense.
I do like how after he explained that, everybody and their mother was like, "Oh, well, I noticed that Maul did the same exact move that he did." No, you didn't. You didn't notice that till Filoni said something. Shut up, stupid. You did not notice that.
The first thing any of us noticed was, did he really cut him?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see that.
But if the first thing you thought of was, wow, he just did the same exact move he did in episode 1, your thought wouldn't have been finished before the fight was.
Yeah. How many people... Excuse me. How many people do you think that go out there and just completely bash on episode 1 are now going, "Oh, it's the exact same move. I totally know that."
Yeah, right.
No, you don't. You hate episode 1. You don't watch it. How do you know that? But yeah, I mean, the logic is sound, but that doesn't mean you have to do it like that. It's just, it makes sense, but nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wanted to see. I mean, can anybody really say, people that are like, "Oh, this is amazing"? Can any of them like say honestly that when that went down, they were looking at the screen going, "Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted." All this buildup, that's fantastic.
I can't.
No.
Nobody
the apologists are out in force on this one.
Yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from this. I'm like, it's again, reasons we didn't get selected to podcast.
I'll give you a snippet from Reddit right here, okay? Because there's a whole subreddit from Star Wars just reviewing this episode. One person says, "Amazing episode and a great end to Maul. That 'he will avenge us' line spoke so much about his character after Palpatine, my bad."
So we've got Palpatine and Palpatine.
Yep, I'm doing great.
Actually, when we podcast from the latrine, he might be Palpatine.
Right?
Palpalatrine.
So anyway, it says that 'he will avenge us' line spoke so much about his character after Palpatine betrayed him. Now it sounds weird saying it properly, damn it. Also have to give props to Stephen Stanton for his Alec Guinness impression. It was spot on. Also, if you notice, Obi-Wan switches from his stance to Qui-Gon's stance in The Phantom Menace. Everything comes full circle. Like...
Yeah, right.
Still, the point still remains that you have 22 minutes of episode and you gave like 2 to this encounter. The rest of the time was what? Ezra stealing an A-Wing, bickering with Chopper, and basically pooping his pants in the cockpit because he didn't realize that somehow Chopper snuck into the cockpit without getting noticed by anybody. Right. To do what, by the way? Get bossed around and navigate around Tattooine and then be told to stay at the ship anyway?
Well,
and then die of battery power in the desert?
Yeah.
The only logical point that guy made in that subreddit was about Stephen Stanton.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was awesome. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't remember having heard him.
Remember that line from the trailer? "You're in the wrong place." Like, oh,
yeah.
That was great. And that was a swerve. That wasn't even directed at Maul. That was directed at Ezra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which sucks because that's a great way to talk smack. Like, have your enemy like walk into your camp, be like, "You shouldn't be here, man." Like, who's not going to poop themselves a little bit?
Right. Yeah. it was just kind of like, it was just a lazy ending. And I just, and you hit the nail on the head, AJ. And it's, again, the thing that I've taken the most out of this is that the apologists are out like, I mean, like the guy right there, what a great end to Maul. No, it's not. It is not a great end to Maul. He's supposed to be some monstrous badass and he goes out with 3 swings. He's like the freaking, the Tootsie Pop of the galaxy.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
It's like it's like the beginning of episode 8 when Luke reaches for the lightsaber from Rey. He slips and falls off the damn cliff behind him. It's like, really? Like, that's how?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
How we end this? Really?
and then Ray goes, "Oh my God, I'm the Last Jedi," and looks at the camera for a second, goes, and then in the theater we all go, "Oh, come on!" Had to get one in there, but yeah, that would be great. I'm the Last Jedi.
Luke hits the ground, and then that old man, was it Lee Trevino from Happy Gilmore? Happy Gilmore standing down there, looks up at Ray and just starts shaking his head.
Star Wars officially jumps the shark.
Oh my God!
Oh boy, we are on it tonight.
Yeah, no, everybody's buying into the whole like samurai mentality thing. Like, yeah, the battle was mental before they even drew their blades. And okay, yeah, kind of, but
yeah, I mean that's cool and
build
all,
it up
but
a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean that part of it's cool. And again, the logic is sound, and I agree with it, and I think it's interesting. But to take a character that's that cool, I mean, if you're going to kill him off quickly, fine. But he did nothing. He did nothing. It was like, come on,
I mean,
that's all.
Just think about other people that you've lost in the Star Wars universe. Go back to episode 7. If there was zero reason or buildup between Han and Kylo, and it's just, you know, he just dies, you're like, why? You know,
yeah.
Like what the hell's the point of this? You know,
yeah.
Everybody you've lost in the Star Wars universe has had some type of buildup, you know, at least main character wise.
Yeah.
That this one, it's like, you basically threw Maul away like a random X-Wing pilot, you know, those flying through the trenches and, you know,
look at disposable character. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they needed to go one way or the other. Either have more dialogue and build up to where the anticipation is built to where it only takes 3 strikes because they're so tense and built, right, or less talk and more fighting.
Yeah.
But as it was like short conversation, even shorter lightsaber fight.
Yeah. And that's one of my big problems with this is that, you know, the whole character arc of Maul is a really good one. I thought they did a really good job when they brought him back. I mean, at first I was like, really? You're going to say he got cut in half but survived? But I'm like, okay, they did it, and he was insane, and you could see that. You know, he loses his mind, whatever, and you know, he's like the spider guy, then he kind of regains some sanity, and he gets regular legs and becomes powerful and does all this stuff, and it was cool. You know, he comes back, and he's like kind of like a free agent, like, you know, bad guy, so to speak, and they did that, and then again, the Savage Opress thing, and then even though it seems really unnecessary now to have him in Rebels, it was still pretty cool, you know, to see him, and he was, you know, still being manipulative. It was just a really cool character arc. I mean, they realized that the fans really loved him in episode 1, and they went, we gotta rectify this, and they did a great job of it. That was a really cool character. Every time he was on screen after that, it wasn't just, oh, this is cool, it's Maul. It was cool because of what he was doing in the story. I really enjoyed it. So it was a very cool character. It was a very cool way to bring him back and to put him into the canon and into the storyline, and to end it like that was, and I don't care if it's logical, give us something more.
I personally think that he should never have shown up in Rebels. Like,
yeah.
The whole way he was brought back in Clone Wars, and the Dathomir angle with the Night Sisters and everything, that's all like magic and really deep into Force and spirituality kind of stuff. Those topics worked well in Clone Wars because that's when there were tons of Jedi, and like the Force was just all over the universe and out in the open. And then like this time period, you know, the line like Tarkin says at the beginning of episode 4, he says, you know, was it the fire has gone out?
Yeah, their fire has gone out of
the fire has gone out of the galaxy. So like this time period doesn't have all that stuff. So when they got back and they had that weird like Ezra Maul thing where the green mist is coming out of their eyes at each other and they're sharing the holocron vision and stuff, I'm like, dude, this it doesn't work in this era of Star Wars. Like, I like the fact that it's a smaller story and it's more about the ordinary people and the rebellion building up, not all the spiritual force wielding stuff.
See, I agree with you, but to play devil's advocate, I do see it a different way myself, because I agree with you, but there is part of me that I kind of like that, because it was a little bit mystic when the rebel stuff is more grounded in a more militaristic kind of a thing. So I thought it was kind of cool because it kind of it brought the mysticism back into it a little bit, whereas the Clone Wars and everything, everyone, one of the major complaints is that they overdid the Force and Jedi thing. Everyone's kind of over it. So now that they've gone away from it, to see some of it a little bit, it actually was a little more poignant to me, I think.
I'm just thinking about, like, granted, he had help in the Clone Wars and stuff, but you go back and you think about when he went toe to toe with Palpatine and stuff, and how you're almost rooting for him to win that lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
And then this happens and you just go, really? It's how do you go toe to toe with Palpatine the way you did? Like I said, granted, he had help, but then you just do the worst move, period, to
right.
The most ill-timed, saber strike ever. Like, if you brought up his character arc, if Darth Maul was just put in book form in front of you right now, the entire last chapter is written on the little flap on the inside cover of the thing. Like,
very true.
It's the worst damn thing ever.
Very, very true.
Like, when you can put the last chapter on one half of a page, your book sucks.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the weirdest thing, because I do not have a problem with him dying or the logic story wise behind it and how Obi-Wan's in a different place. Dave Filoni, for anybody that's interested, did a lengthy interview explaining a lot of this in detail. And
you said it a couple of times. That logic is 100% perfect.
Yeah.
It's great. Just give us more of it.
Yeah.
They could have carried that out for like 3 episodes, having these two just sit there and talk to each other, and it would have been cool.
Yeah. Or build up like a chase through the desert or something. Like Obi-Wan knows he's coming, and basically Filoni said that
get on those goofy bikes from episode 1 while they're playing yakety sax, chasing each other through the desert.
Right? They go pod racing. But yeah, there had to be more payoff, and I think especially because it was explained so well, and apparently a lot of the fans, at least claim to have caught a lot of the subtleties of it story-wise right off the bat. There was plenty of room there to also give us a very climactic final battle. I mean, the original battle was one of the greatest in the entire history of Star Wars. And so for it to end like this is just like, it's not good.
We've long professed to be the idiots of the Star Wars podcasting universe, and this just shows it, because, we don't dig into these things, these story points so far that we get all this. So we're just looking at it like 7 seconds. Like, that's all we got.
Well, and
everybody else is like, oh my God, that's a beautiful piece of cinema right there. It's art.
So
we're
artistic.
Like, I wanted more lightsabers.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's my fault, because I have long said I watch these to be entertained. That's all I care about. I'm not trying to delve into it. And did he do this in that movie? Was this move the same? I might notice it after watching it 50 or 60 times.
I went frame by frame with episode 1. He did the exact same move.
Yeah. I just don't notice that stuff. I'm like was it cool to me or was it not?
John, we have wives and jobs and stuff. Like, we don't have time to delve into that kind of stuff.
See,
I just think I'm not attentive enough.
Yeah. No, but I took Obi-Wan on face value in the movies when he told Luke, I'm getting too old for this sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, the fact that he looks feeble in his fight against Vader is because, well, Alec Guinness was old and Obi-Wan is old, and that's how an old man fights.
Yeah, it works.
He doesn't have the moves anymore, I mean, if you look at the scene, he can't even get himself out of the smuggling hold in the Millennium Falcon. So he gets like one little hop and then just kind of like nods at Chewbacca, like, yeah, I need a lift.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, old guy can't do much. Got it. they needed to do a better job of making Darth Maul look old to show that his skills had diminished. Instead, what you get is the dude's fighting like no time has passed in that Sith temple, and then now all of a sudden he can't hack it against old man Kenobi.
Well, I'm sure you could probably make the argument that maybe a Zabrak ages a lot less than a human.
Then that makes it even less. It makes even less sense then, because if he's
you think you would have just decimated Obi-Wan,
right?
Then.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is if he was old and decrepit like Obi-Wan has become, then fine.
But not when you apply the logic that Maul never moved past that fight. Because that's basically what they said, is that Maul is just living in that one moment of pure anger and rage and never moved past it, whereas Obi-Wan has become a much stronger Force user, and he's been experimenting and learning, and he's not
moving
the same
sand from one side of the desert to the other.
But shoveling sand all the time.
But basically what they're saying is Obi-Wan could still fight like he used to. He just chooses not to. And I buy much more into he can't anymore.
I don't know.
Because he said so.
Yeah,
he should have just took the higher ground, and then he would.
He gets up on a rock. I have the high ground.
He just stands on a pebble. He's like, I have the higher ground now.
Like, what the heck are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know.
Maul just looks at him all confused, and while he's trying to process everything, Obi-Wan just cuts him with a lightsaber.
Right. Yeah, I see it. I don't know.
And like I said, I get that you're on Disney and Disney XD and stuff, but when you have to watch the clip 15 times to try to even convey that the lightsaber actually hit Maul, that you could have did
animation problem.
Yeah, you could almost did what they did in episode 7 with Han. You don't have to show the lightsaber going straight through the guy, but you see Han, and you see the saber through his back, and you put 2 and 2 together, that what the hell happened. You could have easily done something like that on Disney and gotten away with it, especially when Disney XD is supposed to be geared towards early teens and stuff like that.
Actually,
anyways,
if they're talking about mirroring episode 1, they could have.
I get you're not going to Jango Fett the guy on Disney television, but come on.
Well, if they're talking about mirroring the fight from Phantom Menace, they didn't show Qui-Gon get impaled directly.
Right.
No, that's true.
They showed the close up like Han in episode 7, and then they showed the saber getting pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could have easily done something like that, and it would have made a lot more sense than, okay, he cut the lightsaber in half and Darth Maul died. Because that's basically what it looked like.
Yeah, it really was. And I was kind of surprised at that. Because
show like when Kylo Ren got hit in episode 7, when you see like the little burn marks on his, like you could have at least, when he was in Obi-Wan's arms, seen the char of like, oh well, now I can see the wound or something. I said it looks like Maul just went, my lightsaber's screwed, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Yeah, it just seemed weird because they've done. I mean, the one thing I will say about Rebels is the animation is getting really good. I mean, they've had some episodes that have some fantastic art in them. So it's kind of surprising that they didn't do that. It's I really couldn't tell if he was. I'm like, wait a minute. Like you said, he got hit, really?
Because like AJ said, everything was blown online early. So I think I saw like a 30-second clip on Twitter of just the fight, and we were texting each other, and I said, I saw the fight between Ben and Maul, and John, you were like, oh well, Steve's up to speed then, because the whole episode was pointless. All I needed to see was that stupid clip that got leaked 8 hours early on Twitter from them.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. What the hell was that? Where the episode had just aired and they're
dropped. Good job, guys.
I mean, Star Wars just uploaded a new video, Maul in Memoriam.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
There's 2.
At least they didn't play this in the background.
Dude, it was like I was rehearsing with my buddy for my acoustic duo, and AJ tells me about this video, and I was like, why would you air the episode that has such a major plot point to it and then give it away like an hour after you aired the episode? Who came up with that?
I was 12 minutes. Nugget. I got the notification at was it 8:42 or something? It
was that soon.
It was within minutes of the episode
and
airing.
I was really confused on social media that day, because like Steven Stanton was talking about it, and you saw the 30-second clip, you saw the in memory of thing, and then like I'd see Stanton tweet like, hey, 30 minutes before Rebels airs on the East Coast, and wait, what? It hasn't been on TV yet? What?
Right.
Like, wait a minute. Everybody knows what the hell's going on. You're telling me the show hasn't been on TV?
And I don't think it was until Monday morning that it was available on Google Play. So I didn't watch all those spoiler videos. I waited to form my own opinion, thinking that there was at least like some sort of like decent lightsaber battle or big character moment to build to. And then I get that Monday morning. I'm like, my God.
I forgot because I'm old. You remember back in the day,
You're old.
all of our cartoons.
You're like 8 years younger than I am.
All of our cartoons were on Saturday mornings. And, I wasn't thinking. So in, 11 o'clock noon on Saturday, when I'm seeing these spoiler videos of Maul getting killed, I'm like, oh, yeah, this thing must have been on TV at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning or
Right.
something like that. Well, no, it was not on TV at all. Wait, this isn't right.
I wonder who did that.
Dude,
And
I
if
don't
they
know.
still have a job.
I don't know,
The
but
same person that made the podcast list for Celebration.
Right.
dude, and Star Wars YouTube channel just keeps pissing me off because the Star Wars show this week had like, how like you just didn't want to hear it when Han Solo got killed, and come on, he did. Are we good yet?
Not according to his T-shirt.
Nope.
All right, well, so you still can't even come to grips with that.
I don't have to come to grips with something.
Imagine-
that's fake. Donald Trump is president now. Fake news is prevalent.
Imagine if a week after The Force Awakens came out. Boy, I'm just doing great tonight. Wow.
Hey, AJ.
The Force Awakens.
AJ, was Palpatine in The Force Awakens? That's great.
I don't even have a comeback, man. I'm just doing terribly at this tonight.
So anyways,
Anyway, can you imagine like a week after Force Awakens comes out and then the Star Wars show on YouTube is like, Han's dead. Han's dead. Don't even worry about it. Han's dead.
Yep.
Like that's all they were doing on the show this week was Maul's dead. Don't care if you don't like it. Maul's dead. There's no getting around it. Maul's dead. I'm like, quit. It's like they were trolling me.
Right.
Like I didn't want to thumbs down the video. I wanted to middle finger the video.
That's a new icon they're going to put up there for when you hate it.
Oh, go back and think about the way they dropped the ball with this episode. What if they would have told you 8 hours before The Force Awakens opened in theaters that Han got killed?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, right.
Well, here's another.
I still wouldn't have seen it.
Well, this is another bit of symmetry with episode 1 because if you remember, the soundtrack came out a couple of weeks before the movie dropped, and there was a track listing called Qui-Gon's Noble End.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So
yeah,
why not? The episode 1 flashbacks keep coming.
Things that make you go.
So I know that I've been fairly negative where Star Wars is concerned the last couple episodes, but I did see something. This is not on the Maul topic, but it's kind of an interesting. Since we talked about stupid fan theories, I saw a fan theory about the plot line of episode 8 that I thought was actually, if they did this, would be one of the most brilliant things they will have ever done in Star Wars. So,
ooh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's let me see if I can paraphrase because it's kind of a long explanation, but without giving away spoilers, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but basically, if you want to look up the article for the details I'm about to go into, it's on StarWarsNewsNet.com, and it's the title of the article is 3 classic planets will be seen again in episode 8. And
well, technically, we saw Hoth in Force Awakens.
For the council to dissect another stupid fan theory.
Sorry, I had to find it in the computer, man.
But this is a good fan theory. This is not a stupid fan theory because I think this is brilliant. So the line of thinking basically says that the whole idea of the Last Jedi and why Luke went into exile and all this other stuff was that maybe he became disenchanted with the old Jedi Order, and he basically was like, well, they got all arrogant and cocky and stuff like that, and that's not the Jedi Order that I learned was the way it was supposed to be. So he's actually trying to create a new Jedi Order based on the image of the way the Jedi originally were.
You know, I was kind of thinking that by the fact that they're going back to the original Jedi Temple, and the title of the movie is The Last Jedi, and I'm like, they're not both going to get killed or anything. It's not like Rey is going to be the end of the line. So I was thinking that. I'm like, well, it's been explained that the way the Jedi Order fell was by getting away from their roots, basically.
Yeah.
So if Luke really was taking all this time to study the lore of the Jedi, he could have come to the same conclusion and been like, you know, that wasn't the way to do things. And actually, he knows that from his own training, that his training was very different from what the prequel younglings or Padawans got, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that idea that they're like going to explore what the Jedi were supposed to be like. Basically, we're going to look and see, like, we've kind of discussed this before, how like Qui-Gon is the more archetypal Jedi. Like he was, he followed the true Jedi path, and that's why he was more like the outcast in that era, because the Order had moved on and lost their way. I would love to see Luke kind of revive that, and also just be, you know, a little bit more screen time and props for Qui-Gon a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd love to see them mention him actually by name. That'd be awesome.
Well, and the storytelling stuff that it would open up would be huge, which is really cool, because I think it's a storyline and a way to direct the plot that would open up a ton of other things that you could do. So I really like that. I think it's a very creative way to move everything forward. And personally, I know a lot of people have said, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, that a lot of people are kind of annoyed with the oversaturation of the Force mysticism and the Jedi and the Sith. Like, but I'm not one of them. I actually really like that. That's
ultimately,
I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of what Star Wars boils down to.
That's what I think too. Yeah,
good versus bad, and you know, it's the Jedi versus the Sith. You know, and they've, you know, there's none of that left almost. So it's kind of going back to roots isn't that bad of an idea.
Yeah, and to actually like explore the history of the Jedi Order, and you know, to have Luke Skywalker kind of do something historic and legendary, you know, those are terrible words to use in this context, but to do
I
something
get what you're
like
saying,
that,
because you wouldn't think Luke would be the guy to kind of bring everything back to, you know, the way that Qui-Gon would have been acting and stuff like that. So yeah, I get what you're saying when you try to use those words.
Yeah, it would just be such a cool thing to see, like the original history of the Jedi, and all the EU honks and everything could potentially get their Knights of the Old Republic stuff out of this.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many different things you could do with it.
That explains the Hayden Christensen Force Ghost, you know, with him and Obi-Wan standing there watching Luke like, yeah, I guess we could have did it this way, huh?
I guess that was always an option.
Sorry.
Well, you notice how like people talk about in Return of the Jedi, how the way Luke actually triumphed over evil was by rejecting what Yoda and Obi-Wan were telling him. They're like, go kill Vader. You got to kill Vader. And he's like, nope, not going to do it. I'm going to love that guy instead.
Yeah.
And that's the true Jedi way. So even as far back as episode 6, there was still this idea that even the greatest Jedi that still lived, Yoda and Obi-Wan, had it wrong.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the things that Filoni said in his explanation of the death of Maul was that Obi-Wan did not want to fight, and that he did not want to kill Maul. He doesn't believe in fighting and all that anymore. So that's kind of, maybe that's a little, even though he acted differently in the subsequent films and, you know, 4, 5, and 6, maybe that's like a little foreshadowing of something that might be coming up in the canon, is that kind of changed outlook from a light side Force user.
Just because he's had that epiphany doesn't mean he's completely gone away from what he was taught.
True.
You know, Obi-Wan was taught, he was a friggin' general, which Jedis should never have been generals. And they made that point in the Clone Wars, like by even fighting, they already lost because that wasn't their role.
Yeah.
So, yeah, on one hand, he's like, yeah, fighting is not the Jedi way. On the other hand, he's like, well, I see a big villain needs defeated, so go fight him.
Yeah, I'm going to go kick his ass, right? Yeah, I just love the idea of seeing more Jedi stuff, and I'm probably in the minority with that. But that's what differentiates Star Wars from a normal space movie type of thing for me. I love Star Trek, but I love Star Wars so much more because it's got something different than just spaceships and lasers and aliens and stuff. You know,
I've seen it described as sci fantasy, and it pretty much is.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And you know, again, you know, seeing Luke Skywalker do this stuff, and hey, I am very, very much on record as saying I want Star Wars to tell me an original story, and that would be a very original story for them to tell. It takes it in a different direction. It's something new. It's not, aping,
and it's
episode
much more
5,
and it's much more connective too.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, and I just think it would be so cool to see that stuff on screen, and it's just it takes the story. It's kind of linear right now. Of everything's kind of happening in a chronological, nice straight line, and this really would skew it because you can finally break away from that and go in different directions, but have it still tie in and have it not seem quite as linear.
Mm-hmm.
At least to me, anyway. That's just my opinion. And again, I've been so effing negative the show I really feel like all I've been doing is bitching. Like the last 3 episodes, just I didn't like this, and I didn't like this, and I didn't like this. Get off my lawn, and I don't know why.
Such a curmudgeon.
Yeah, it's like I love Star Wars, and yet lately I've just been pissed about it for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, we did just spend about 40 minutes complaining about Darth Maul's death too, so we got to bring it more positive.
Well, Maul's death sucks, man.
Maybe we'd have more of a fellowship on the show if we were just crusty old men that complained about the Star Wars every
just
week.
Complain about everything. That's our new angle. Just say everything that we don't like.
Oh, I see. I can say Palpatine and get lambasted for it, but he can say fellowship and no one says a word.
Yeah, I let that one go because it's at least not a specific character name.
I'm going to be stuck on that forever now. We're going to be playing Trivial Pursuit in line, not online, in line.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get an Emperor question, and I'm going to say it again because I swear, now hearing it back, Palpatine sounds wrong. I've screwed it up so many times that the right version sounds wrong.
You're going to be in line. This was Anakin Skywalker's boss at the repair shop. Watto. What?
On Tattooine.
Anakin Ski Whacker.
Qui-Gon. Like your brother said the one time. Wasn't that what he said? Steve called him Qui-Gon.
Is it Froderick?
Yeah.
Froderick Frankenstein.
And now we've brought it around to Young Frankenstein quotes. That's a beautiful thing.
All right. That needs that for the Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, it does.
We're good.
Yeah, it does.
You can't really close on anything better than that, huh?
Yep.
So episode 8 is shaping up to have some original stories, and I mean,
it's a fan theory, so we don't know for sure, but
everything that I have actually kind of dug into a couple spoiler-ish things, not really anything that's revealing, but I haven't had my blinders on about episode 8 nearly as much as I did for episode 7. And the things that I've seen or reported, they all seem to be good. I'm excited about the direction the story is taking.
Yeah, it seems like it. I've
been kind of excited ever since John Boyega was talking about how they're kind of going darker with it, because that was at the same time that we heard Rogue One was going to be a darker type film, that he said 8 was going to be darker too, and we're like, it's Disney. How bad can you get?
Yeah.
And then we saw Rogue One, and it's like, if that's anything that we can take and try to put into episode 8, if we get any of what we got Rogue One style, it's gonna be a damn good movie.
Yep. I wonder when they're gonna bring in more Chiss, to bring it back around to Rebels for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thrawn, everyone loves Thrawn as a character, but he's the only Chiss you ever see. I wonder if they're ever going to have any more of those because of his popular, kind of like how the Mandalorians are all of a sudden huge because everyone loves Boba Fett so much, so they brought it into it. Now everyone loves the Mandalorian angles in the stories.
Well, we could really embarrass ourselves if you want to move into, now since we talked about the last episode of Rebels, we could talk about what we expect to see in the season finale this Saturday. So when the show drops on Sunday, we can sound really stupid.
Dude, I can't do that. And you want to know why? This is sad. This is how little I've been enjoying half of the episodes of Rebels. I've seen every single episode of Rebels. Hell, we own every episode of Rebels on Google Play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the plot very well because I just watch them, and it's so many of the episodes I've just gone, all right, whatever.
In one ear, out the other. You just kind of really forget it the moment that the credits roll.
Yeah, it really is, because I'm not invested in it because half the time I'm like, what the hell? All right, whatever.
Well, you were talking about Thrawn, so I want to get your predictions. Season 1, we lost the Grand Inquisitor in the finale. Season 2, we lost the rest of the Inquisitors in the finale. Are we losing Thrawn in the finale of season 3?
They better not. That would be Maul-esque.
That would be a rush
I was
job.
say they could, like we were just talking about the panic angle of getting rid of Maul. I mean, this would be one way to knock out another one of those characters in canon that doesn't seem to be around for the events of A New Hope. And it seems like any character that is there, it's like they gotta find a way to end the story arc before then, so people aren't going, well, where's this guy at the beginning of episode 4 then? Because he's blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, maybe they're just in full-blown panic mode right now. All right, we got to kill this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and then it all makes sense for episode 4 and Rogue One.
They're going to have so much fan backlash if they kill off Thrawn, because he really hasn't appeared that much in this season.
And there was
a lot of hype when he first showed up.
Yeah, they're saying like this episode is going to be his, like he's going to finally make his move, and there's a huge battle and all that could change the course of the rebellion. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of war to this one, but
well, it better, because Rogue One is supposedly the first major victory the Rebel Alliance scores against the Empire. So if there's this giant space battle over Lothal, or land battle too, because there's scenes on the ground as well. If it's like a Rogue One-esque Scarif type of situation, and the Rebels actually come out on top, it doesn't make any sense.
Do you think they're going to kill off one of the Ghost crew?
Good question. Who would it be?
It's
not Hera.
I could see him killing off Kanan.
I could see that.
Yeah, it's not going to be Hera.
I mean, Kanan can't, but I can.
Because I'm all right.
I still, every time I see him and he's got the eyes painted on that helmet, I always think about what you said, AJ. Like, the guy goes blind and they paint eyes on his helmet. Like, how rude can you be? Like, hey, blind guy, here's what you're missing. Like,
every week there should just be something else on the front of it. There's like a couple of little googly eyes taped to it or something.
Sabine just uses his mask as a freaking palette,
right?
Yeah, right. The googly eyes.
It's like in Toy Story. He's like, we might get into a fight. Pack my angry eyes.
Right.
Kanan's about to get into a fight, and Sabine goes over with a piece of chalk and just puts little angry eyebrows.
That's what Kanan's eye shield is made out of. It's one of those chalkboards where you have the washable chalk marker.
Yes.
Now
It's chalkboard paint.
Yes, chalkboard paint. So she can just keep going and changing it depending on his mood and whatnot.
He's got a dry erase helmet. He just puts a marker on it. You hear the
if you look real close at the back, it says by Expo. Like, he's sleeping and Ezra walks over real quiet with the bottle of the cleaner, like wipes it off.
Right. Now so Thrawn has yet to really like reveal his plan. If it only takes one battle for it all to unravel and he ends up dead as a result, that's friggin' stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. If he wants to like slink away with his tail between his legs, and maybe the Emperor like bosses him away to like the fringes of the Empire, like to wild space again or wherever he came from. All right, he doesn't have to die to get out of the storyline, but come on, he's got to have some sort of staying power, and especially I would like to see him crush the rebels at Lothal to establish that all of this buildup wasn't for nothing, and that first battle over Scarif where they actually won was a huge accomplishment, because the last time they tried it, Lothal, they failed.
Yeah, I think it's very important that the Empire wins this battle, because otherwise it's going to really delegitimize Thrawn.
Because yeah, I've brought up the panic thing a couple of times, and now with the events of Rogue One, you have that much less time to work with.
And they've confirmed season 4, and they're going to, I guess, give like a preview of season 4 at Celebration. So we know they've got to figure out something for a 4th season to wrap this thing up.
Right. So now they have less time to work with. So it's like, what do you do with Thrawn? Is it a quick
keep him? You don't invent a new villain for next season.
Yeah, they've already done that. This would be the third. I mean, they had the Grand Inquisitor, then the Inquisitors and Vader, and now Thrawn.
I got the guy standing on the corner over there when season 1 of Rebels, came out. We thought like that guy over there was going to be, the next huge damn thing, and the bad guy world of Star Wars. And then you go, hold on a minute, you just killed him in the end of the first season. Now what? So
yeah, and then you got a couple punks that weren't even as big a threat as he was, and then the whole thing was shuttered by the end of season 2. Like, wow, that Inquisitor program was really a pisser, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, you remember before season 1 started, we thought this Inquisitor thing was going to be holy crap, like this guy's
like the next Vader.
Yeah,
yeah.
Then you find out, no, there's like 85 of these guys, and
yeah, I think if they kill Thrawn in this episode, I think that they really have kind of lost touch with what the fans are looking for, and at least trying to give the fans something. Because if you're going to kill off a fan favorite like Maul in 7 seconds, and then you're going to finally give people Grand Admiral Thrawn and only bring him out like 5 or 6 times this season, and then kill him. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think you got to shut this thing down right now, like the end of episode 5. Like you said, that the Empire's just got to have a crushing thing to just end the season, just put the Rebels on a downer. That way, if you are a fan of the Rebels, you're just going to be pissed waiting for the entire next season of Rebels to start. So,
yeah, I mean, put some serious doubt in there. That's why I'm saying, like, are they going to kill a member of the Ghost Crew? Because you could do, have the Empire get this massive victory, and so they look dominant, like the rebellion's kind of up in the air. Then somebody dies, and you're like, "Whoa, man!" Like,
can they kill Chopper?
Oh, Callus is the goner. Callus is definitely the goner.
I was saying, I didn't even know if he was. I've missed so much of the season. I didn't even know if Callus was alive or not. I was going to name drop him, and I was like,
Fulcrum.
He's Fulcrum, and Thrawn knows he's Fulcrum.
Yeah,
he already said he's going to start feeding bogus information through him.
So yeah, he could easily be a killer at the end of the this season. Then,
wait a minute, that's a pretty cool plot point. And I just thought of, as you said it, he's going to be feeding bullcrap information through Fulcrum, so through Callus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Rebels are going to probably get caught in some trap because of it, and they're going to go, "We should never have trusted Callus in the first place. He was misleading us," when it's actually not him.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. That'd be pretty cool.
You really
trademark it before the show airs.
If you want to build the legend of Thrawn, this is what you do. You have him exact his plan, feed bogus information to the Rebels through Fulcrum, and then when it all gets revealed in the midst of the battle, when the trap is sprung, then Thrawn confronts Callus and says, "I know it was you. I did this on purpose, and now you're dead."
Yeah, like he
reveal it all and then kill him.
Like when he killed the pilot or whatever it was in that one episode.
Oh yeah. That was with the speeder bike.
Yeah,
that sit on the rigged speeder bike.
That was really cool. That was, ooh man, this guy's really.
See, that's what I mean. Like, they blew up a dude by sitting on a bomb of his own making, and then Maul, they won't even show you a lightsaber wound.
I really don't understand that.
Sorry, I know I just derailed our topic, but I'm still pissed about Maul.
You might as well have just had Maul die of old age before they fought. Like,
right. He might as well have just tripped over the fire or something.
He just strokes out while he's going after Obi-Wan and falls face first onto the fire.
Right. I just keep thinking back to what you said, Steve, about how Disney XD is like for 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, whatever. It's for the the older Disney crowd. Oh, we can't show somebody getting gored with a lightsaber. And I'm thinking, these kids were already having sex.
Yeah, right.
they're sexting each other and sending naked pictures, but you can't have them watch a cartoon guy get gored with a lightsaber.
Yeah, you realize the Clone Wars was rated Y10, by the way.
Maul and Obi-Wan's fight goes down as quickly as some of the sex lives of the people watching the show.
3 strokes and done.
Yep, there it is. All right, well, on that note, we'll close
or mine.
You said it, pal, not me.
All right, and now that we've built towards a climax.
Yeah, there it is. We will close up shop. So thanks everyone for checking out another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Definitely want to send out congratulations to the podcasts that did get selected to broadcast live at Celebration. I'm sure that we'll probably take in a couple of those to see what it's like. You can find us at all the usual places, nerfherdercouncil.com. We are on Twitter at NHC Podcast. We have our Facebook page. You can find us there. The usual locations to download us or to stream us: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker is our major one. So check us out there. Share us with your friends and family and all that. And we officially have one more episode, guys, until we will be at Celebration in Orlando. Mm-hmm. So as a very brief tease for our next episode, we will be discussing all things Celebration, the schedule, how to get around Celebration. It's not really, a lot of shows have done a survival guide. Ours is going to be with our own unique spin on it because AJ and I have come up with some very interesting ways to maneuver Celebration that are
lots of hanging out in the bathroom.
Not very. That sounded horrible. But they're definitely.
I didn't say anything about glory holes. I'm talking about podcasting in the bathroom, dude.
Now it got worse, man. Good Lord. So, anyways, we'll
to each their own. Whatever you want to do, it's your celebration, man.
So, anyways, the next show we're going to talk about Celebration and give some stories that we haven't told on air and how we handle Celebration, and might have a guest or two on that are also quite savvy in the ways of Celebration navigation. So, anyways, thanks again for checking out the show. As always, I am your host.
Celebration navigation sounds like it should have been one of those after school special things. Schoolhouse Rock.
Right? As always, I am your host, JT, Head Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we'll catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.
We now join the Nerf Herder Council's pre-show banter, already in progress.
God, I think it was that song,
doing
dude.
Some experimentation, playing easy listening, middle of the road type stuff. You know, Paul Young, Dust in the Wind. That works okay.
Works
Dig
for
this.
me. Loves Jackie Wilson.
Sheesh. Do you guys do this at night when I'm not here? Oh, I get it. It sings. It sounds exactly like Jackie. That's fantastic.
Higher and Higher.
Emmylou Harris?
Oh, it is
the same song.
Yeah.
Oh, it dances,
Like, it dances.
That's the sound my toilet's going to make sometime on Friday.
Literally chucking a clinker.
I bought an intestinal cleanser that I have proof from two friends works. Neely and Aiken both use it. They got it from Don Dock, and Aiken said it was a 3-flusher. 2 during and 1 after.
Oh my God, what does that have to smell like?
He said he was in there for 40 minutes and it was like nonstop. He described it as, you know how when you're like waiting at the railroad tracks and you see the train and it just keeps going in the distance and never stops, and then all of a sudden you think it's over because you see the little space, but it's just a flat car with nothing on it, and then it just keeps coming after that. That's what it was. And apparently he's losing weight like crazy with it. So I'm like, hey, it's called exactly. It's called Perfect 7. So if you see anything relating to Perfect 7 on my Facebook page, you'll know exactly what the hell went down. I'm drinking it tomorrow. It takes between a day and 2 days, and I'm trying because I'm off of work on Friday, but I have to drive to Columbus at like 1 p.m. Friday. I think I'm going to chug it tomorrow morning, and then pray that it doesn't hit at night, and then that way at least it'll be sometime during the night, Thursday through Friday, and then or in the morning on Friday.
Dude, I love this because it's usually me that always has to like take a mad mom's house, but you're gonna peel the wallpaper, man. That border is just gonna fall off. It's gonna be like a ticker tape parade.
Well, the worst is I'm going to a wedding. What if I have to get up in the middle of the damn ceremony and run out to the bathroom while Jake and Jenny are getting married?
Oh Jesus, dude.
That's gonna be awful. Sorry, Perfect 7. Don't mind me.
How much is this stuff? Can we like
$20?
Is there any way to get it down to Celebration and put it in like some type of water supply?
No, you know what? No, because what you have to do is like you have to mix it up and drink it, and like as soon as it's mixed a little bit, you have to chug it because otherwise it turns into like paste.
Okay, but who the hell does this right before they go out of town for the weekend? That's like the dumbest timing ever, dude.
I don't have time any other time to do it. I literally don't have any other, like I'm off of work Friday, so I have all tomorrow night. And then before I leave for the wedding, and if I go on the road, if I'm on the way and I have to stop at a rest stop, I got to stop at a rest stop. I hope Steph and Dominic are going to have to watch a movie.
I'll pay attention to your Twitter feed.
Yeah, you'll see.
Smells stinker with.
That's damn right, dude. All right. We ready?